What's up, everybody? Welcome to Diamond Owl Studios, the #1 place for music reactions. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere, because this is about to be one of the best reactions you've ever seen. I'm Paper Chase.
And it's the one and only Diamond Don Juan, and we are back with another reaction just for you.
What's going on, Don?
Today, we are reacting to Martina Mcbride, Concrete Angels. Doing all right over there, buddy?
Yeah, that was it went a little hard on that bag. Yeah, kind of got to me a little bit.
All right, so this will be our second reaction to Martina. I had never heard of her prior to doing her duet with Elvis.
Yeah, her digitally enhanced duet.
They got us.
We thought that they actually did it together.
I didn't know that. Like, people are roasting us. You didn't actually think they recorded this song together, did you? Yes, I did. I'm sorry. I did. I'd never heard of Martina Mcbride. I had no idea.
Me neither, yeah.
You know?
Like, how are we know you guys are trying to bamboozle us?
Yeah. We got hoodwinked by AI slop, bro.
By 2007 AI slop. Dude, we actually fell for it.
Oh, man. We have never claimed to be scholars or men of high intellect.
But here's the real question. Are we the only reaction channel that fucking thought that?
It's entirely possible.
But hey, you guys subscribe to this channel because, you know, we have out-of-pocket funny takes. We just, you know, have a really, really good time doing this. Yeah, like he said, we're not fucking rocket scientists over here, okay? We're reactors.
Exactly. If we had real talent, we'd be making our own music or doing something besides this.
Oh, God, dude. You're grilling us today.
You know, I just got to call it like it is. You know what I mean? You have to recognize, like, some people just try to, you know, put too much, you know, emphasis on themselves. You know, they take themselves too seriously. Like, you know, if I was a real man of talent and intellect and, you know, skill, I'd be making rockets or making art. But here I am sitting in this chair.
Yeah.
Reacting to other people's content.
That's right. And we actually have a great time doing it. And guys, without further ado, this is our second introduction to Martina Mcbride. This song is called Concrete Angel. And you said this is a sad song, maybe?
No, I just feel like we need to lock in and get it on our game faces and focus because, you know, we get a little, you know, I talked to Black Pegasus, a fellow reactor. He's a good friend of mine. Known him forever, 30 years now going on.
That's crazy. I'm only 30 years old.
You were just a little twinkle in Papa's nutsack.
Yeah, that's crazy. Don't ever say
So
that.
anyways, you know, we were talking about different, you know, things, and he was giving me some pointers, and I kind of brought this up because I was like, yeah, I think we were talking about the Elvis reaction. I was like, I'd never heard of Martina, and he referenced this song. He's like, just, you know, it's one of those songs that you want to be in a certain mood, like more, I guess, serious or emotional song is just all he said. He was like,
and we have been. I know we started out joking, but we actually are in a great mood today for music like this. So I think it's a good day to pop this one out.
Yeah. So now let's put on our game faces, lock in, and, you know, give this song its the attention it deserves, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at.
It's respect.
She walks to school with a lunch she packed. Nobody knows what she's holding back. Wearing the same dress she wore yesterday. She has the bruises with a linen and lace. Oh. Teacher wonders, but she doesn't ask. It's hard to see the pain behind the mask, bearing the burden of a secret storm. Sometimes she wishes she was never born. Through the wind and the rain, she stands hard as a stone in a world that she can't rise above. But her dreams give her
Oh God, thank God that song took some sort of positive twist of like her meeting the little boy. 'Cause I was about to start bawling my eyes out, bro.
Yeah, same. I mean, it's hard. It's hard when you I mean, who doesn't have a hard time when you hear about like kids and,
Yeah.
going through like struggles. And so, as a both of us being fathers, especially you as a father to a daughter, that's younger, these songs can be hard to listen to sometimes when they take
Yeah.
on this subject matter. And, we will see where it goes, but it's painting that picture of, that kid that's just going through it, you know?
Absolutely. Like you said, I have a daughter. I mean, this little girl's probably older than my daughter is, but yeah, man. I mean, it hits home. Like I'm very blessed that my daughter comes from a very loving family. Everybody she is the most loved little girl in the world, I feel like, and she doesn't know these type of interactions that other kids might be having with their parents, and it's just still so relatable because even though this like abuse or whatever might not be happening at home, it's still like your biggest fear as a parent is sending your kid out to the world and it happening or getting bullied or whatever it might be. It's just,
Yeah.
and
One of the things they're talking about is like her going to school and bruises and the teacher has questions, but it
won't
feels
ask.
like,
Yeah.
it gets swept under the rug. And, I had a kid in my neighborhood that, I mean, as an adult, it's like as a child, like we would play with him and he was the weird kid, he was a weird kid. We'd go to his house, go knock on, I remember going to his house and like knocking on his door and it smelled like pee, like the whole house. And he lived with like an uncle and it was just very like dirty. There was a very dark aura and vibe. And he was like, I stopped like hanging out with him because he was like violent. Like he was a violent kid. And like, I think he came and like spent the night once and like wet the bed. And so like, there's all this stuff. Right. So then he was the weird kid that got picked on. Right. And like, we got into a fight, down the line because he was just like violent, So he got ostracized, but now as an adult, it's like all the little signs, like you realize like, oh, like there was probably something going on in the house because like bedwetting is a sign of like abuse, the violent outbursts. But again, like my reaction to that as a child myself, like I didn't understand. He just got ostracized.
Yeah.
He got pushed out by all the other kids. He was the weird kid, and then it's like the teachers kind of overlooked it and he was a trouble kid, but it's like, what was really going on?
What was happening?
Because it's obviously that behavior wasn't just coming out of nowhere. There was something behind it, which is kind of what the song is like illustrating, just how these things can go unnoticed and get swept under the rug.
Yeah, I do want to get back into the song, but just like that whole first verse of like, how she packed her own lunch and she wearing the same clothes.
Dirty dress.
It's like there's so many kids out there who like are picking themselves up by the bootstraps and like doing the job for the parents. And it's just so sad, man. But this is a beautiful song in its own way. I mean,
let's see where it goes.
Somebody cries in the middle of the night. The neighbors hear, but they turn out the light. A fragile soul caught in the hands of fate. When morning comes, it'll be too late. Through the wind and the rain, she stands hard as a stone in a world that she can't rise above. But her dreams give her wings, and she flies to a place where she's loved. Concrete angel. A statue stands in a shaded place. An angel girl with an upturned face. A name is written on a polished rock. A broken heart that the world forgot. Through the
I did not expect that.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh. Bro, you gotta give me warnings before these songs. Oh. God, I wonder if if any of that story was based off a true story.
Yeah, it makes me wonder what inspired her to write this song, because it's not like a fun song, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
It's hard because it's like I understand it to a degree because, I think she's trying to bring attention to this, and just be a voice for victims.
Yeah.
That's what I take from it.
and for advocacy of like
Yeah,
actually
exactly, like-
speaking out when you see these signs.
Yeah. You know what? This song makes me angry. I just have to be honest. Like
Mhm.
I get angry because like man, it's like I don't even like talking about it. So I had for a while, Carlita, my ex, and my son were living in Castle Rock. We split up for a while, and I went over there to visit, and we were kind of like working things out and, trying to get back together, whatever. She had a duplex, and there was an apartment below, and there was a family living down there. And I don't know what it was. It's just so bizarre. But her washing machine was like right there. This all makes sense, right? And the washing machine, when you would leave it open, it was like a megaphone. It like amplified the sound from the basement, almost like a speaker. It was so bizarre. But there was this dude down there, and he was like cooking meth. Like he was like, cooking meth, and he had a little boy that was just a little bit older than Silver, and he was saying the most awful shit to him. Like, talking about like he had a piggy bank, and he's like, I'm going to take your money. What are you going to do about it, you little bitch? Like to a kid that was like, not much older than my son. And it's like, I can't imagine doing that. You know what I mean? It's like so
Yeah.
dark.
It's evil, man.
So dark and so evil. And the reason I get angry is because like I did everything that I could, and it's like there was nothing that I could do. It's like, I heard it one night and I got fucking pissed, and I went down there and I knocked on the door because I'd already called the police on him multiple times. And, they would come and they were just like, there's nothing we can do unless there's something. It ended up that I called the police again, like down the line. He ended up barricading himself, and like, but we tried to like get him evicted. Like there's all this stuff that we tried to do, but I just felt like so helpless. Like eventually when I heard that happening one night, I just went down there and just like pounded on the door, and I was like, you motherfucker, like if the police don't do something, I'm going to fucking kill you myself. Like if I ever hear you talk like that again. But it's like, even then I was like, what did I just do? That's so dumb. Like, my family lives here, it's just sometimes just feels like so helpless. Like,
Yeah, but I do think one of the most important things as a human being, not just as a man or a woman, as a human being, is to help and defend those that are defenseless, which is always young children. Like they can't defend themselves. They don't know anything. A lot of kids don't know anything but abuse, and that's the number one like duty we have as people and mankind is to protect them.
And it does make me wonder, like, if that
can you click hide right there just so everybody can maybe see the.
It actually does make me wonder if like an organization like this could have done something to help, in some fashion. Because like, again, like I am not putting the blame on the police. Like I understand, like we had to call them multiple times. But I had discussions with the police officers. Like, dude, this is what's going on. Like, I told him what I'd heard. I'm like, this dude was like tearing out copper piping at like 2 a.m. One of the times that I had to go down, I wake up and I'm like, what is going on? I hear rattling, and the dude opens. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing down here? And I see he's like torn the wall apart, and like he's like trying to saw the piping. I'm like. And the cops just like, there's nothing we can do. Like without like a warrant, without these certain things, we can't go in. So it was like, it's just such a, heartbreaking situation.
And that one was clearly like, you could hear it. He was incriminating himself all the time, but there's a lot of signs that go unnoticed, and like people just, they'd prefer not to think it. My, when I was younger, my dad moved to Kentucky, and he rented out our house to our childhood house to a family. And I was probably like 12 or 13. So I would get sent down there. I'd take the bus down there to check on it, to collect like rent checks and stuff like that. And it was this family who had like 6 or 7 kids. And they just joined the Mormon church, and they were basically like getting money from them. And it was just the creepiest situation. But I went into their house one time, and all the windows were completely blocked out with foil and and all this stuff. Turns out, so my dad ends up like coming back evicting them because it was this whole weird situation. We had like no proof, but the kids were like always like filthy and slop and stuff. Both the parents went to prison. And and I'm not like, I was too young to really like, I was just like, this family is weird as fuck. I didn't really understand what was going on because I'd never been.
Yeah.
I was never like victimized by any means. I had very loving parents, and you know, it's just like these signs that people want to ignore. And like my sister, they lived on in a very beautiful neighborhood in Highlands Ranch, amazing house. And I remember there was this massive scandal that next door, or like across the street, there was this husband and this wife who were loaded. They seemed like the nicest people in the world. They got charged. I don't remember the exact what it was, but like for like sex trafficking on like a very high level, like doing like the rest of their life in prison. And they were just like in a very nice neighborhood. And like my sister and you know, my brother-in-law were like, we would have never fucking guessed that, dude. And it's like, because you weren't looking for the signs, you know, like
that's what's scary, is that sometimes these situations can be like right kind of under your nose, literally, or just like right, you know, next door, down the block, the situations that seem, you know, innocent. And yeah, I think that's what this whole song is about, is like not ignoring those warning signs and like doing what you can to speak up, like at least trying to make an effort to be an advocate. So tough song. Like I said, it brought up a lot of personal, you know, kind of memories just from situations that I've been around. But yeah,
I do want to say, like, the ending was obviously incredibly sad. I didn't see it going that way, but like the chorus, I did love how it wasn't just like, obviously this little girl was the victim. Obviously it was a terrible, awful, evil situation, but the whole chorus was like uplifting her. Like through everything, this girl is so strong and incredible, and all the hardship that she went through. It was a very beautifully written song, and I hate to say that with the subject material, but it was.
No, I think as I'm like really reflecting on the purpose of this song, like what I'm catching now is like, this is an uplifting, beautiful song that's bringing like a touch of like inspiration to a terrible situation and trying to give it the best light that you can to this subject, while at the same time bringing attention to it. Like that's what I'm getting. Like now it's like, okay, I think this song was written specifically to bring attention to this issue and try to do it in a way where you're taking the subject and at least giving it some form of like, you know, inspiration or beauty or, you know, uplifting message to it.
I know this reaction is going a little long, but I don't know. This song definitely hit me, and I just want to know if Angela Carter was a real like little girl who went through this. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean that's the point of like doing these reactions. I mean, it's a little bit longer than our normal ones, but like a subject like this, I feel like deserves
more time, more time, more
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, so no, she's not real. Oh wait. Okay, wait up.
Concrete Angel?
Yeah, because it says she's not real from the song Independence Day. I'm like, not the same song. So no, she's not a real person in that song, but yeah. It's not based on one specific real child, but I just thought that was beautiful. Instead of the chorus being like, you know, victimizing her anyway. It's like she was beaten down. She was this, she was that, she was that. It was like she was strong through all this pain and all this suffering. She stood tall. Like, just beautiful way to write that chorus.
Absolutely. So let us know in the comments if there's some additional, you know, history that we need to know about this song, or what was the inspiration behind writing this song. I would love to know. yeah, you know, like I said, it is a beautiful song, even though it's like tough subject matter. But at the same time, I think a lot of this gets swept under the rug because nobody wants to have these conversations. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the whole like Epstein stuff. Nobody wanted to talk about it. It's not a fun topic. So it gets swept under the rug because no one wants to believe it's real. So, you know, it's not something you bring up in polite society. And so nobody pays attention, and then just goes on for years and years. And, you know, it's like, hey, it takes people like this who are brave enough to actually take it on, talk about it, and bring it to the light.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like. If you guys want to join us on this journey of watching all kinds of different stuff, music, stuff that makes us cry, stuff that makes us laugh, hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you join along our journey. We post every day. Promise you will not be let down. Thanks for watching, guys.
Peace.